Hi Cancer. Welcome to your April reading. It's so cozy. The sun is about to set. The fire is going. I just felt like hanging out. I have my notes here for April. So let's start off by reminding you, all of us, me, all of us, that this is Jungian Tarot, meant to help you use the archetypes in an attempt to understand yourself better. The astrology and the astrological info, providing necessary knowledge of cycles that have been around for millennia. And somewhere between the two, we find our way. Okay, Cancer, let's start. So, for a lot of you, you just want to get married. You're over it. You want what you want. For those of you who are in successful relationships, it's like you keep running from hurdle to hurdle. For those of you who are trying to attract good relationships, it seems like you keep attracting the very opposite. Saturn is doing what Saturn does best. Teaching lessons. And no, they are not in any way pleasant. If you know that the connection is over and you've been hanging on, it's over. If it's taken you years to understand that, and you think maybe you can go a few more years pretending you don't understand, you can't. It's over. But like every ending, it comes with a bright new beginning. Whether it was years or weeks or months, it's okay. And if you're thinking, well, I didn't go through that, I knew it was over a long time ago, but you were holding on to the wound closes and now it's really over. But this sun doesn't mean you rush into something new. You can't really see any red flags right now. You only have expectations and they're very high. Too high maybe. For yourself, for others, you're compensating. This is compensating. And that's okay. But if you meet someone right now, don't turn them into like a savior. They're not. You're the savior. Not the, sorry, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean. So, if you keep your expectations relatively low, which sounds so depressing, but it's to keep you from being really disappointed later. Your radar is just off. When things end, or when an ending is finally acknowledged and absorbed or realized, it's tough. It takes, even the, Baba, what are you doing? Just go around. Just go. You want to say hi? Say hi, because now you made it a thing. Come say hi now.
It's fine.
Come say hi now, because you've been walking around like a mouse. This is my son. Sorry. So, even the acknowledgement of an ending that may have happened years ago, but you're just now understanding or have your closure or found your healing last month, that doesn't mean you're just like ready to move on. There's grief, there's sadness, there's confusion, there's doubt, there's pain, there's worry. you know, and then when you worry, as you know, when your heart is worried, then your wallet starts to worry because the worry becomes contagious, and then the worry can turn into panic, and that's what we don't want to do right now. So no matter how terrible it may feel to have an attachment end, that does not mean that we detach from ourselves. Just because someone detaches from us does not mean that we punish ourselves by also doing the same. Okay, so quite some cards. Let's see. Okay, so that's nice. You will come back to you. We knew this already. You always do. It's just a matter of time. But it's nice to know that all you need is some rest. Makes sense. Little shell time. Because for some of you, this isn't a relationship. For some of you, this is like something you really wanted to be, and you're realizing like, okay, I don't think I'm going to make it in that. Or something you really wanted to do, and you put a lot of effort into it and a lot of years into it, and now you're like, could it be that this is just not going to work out? Like, it's a blow, you know? First card out, Ace of Swords in your astrology. Like, the first thing I have written down here is like, you're attracting unhealthy things and you can't seem to attract healthy things, and things that were just hanging on by a thread, they just fall apart. And these are things that you could have been honest with yourself about, but you weren't. And I think that's the hardest part. I think that's what a big part of this is. This is like, not so much like, you know, in Swingers, he says like, then you miss the pain for the same reason you missed her, because you got used to it. Not even that. I think this might also be just the knowledge, like no one's going to call you on it because they don't know what's going on in your head, but the knowledge that you knew and you ignored the truth over and over again. That's tough. For some of you, it may even put you in a space where you want to like, you know, say something or do something about it. But I don't think you should, because the Ace of Cups is like, you know, there's a lot to live for. I know that when you love, it's like a whole other kind of love, and we can't understand, and life doesn't mean anything without it. And I know that when you pour yourself into a career or a profession, you do it with everything you have. So what do you know? What are you saying? I get that. And I'm still saying that there's a lot of life out there to live. There is a lot. And you can use this to empower you, and you can use this to, you know, forge a new direction, and any direction that you want. And maybe that's the blessing in and of itself, is your freedom. And it's so funny because I don't think you actually get how much you like your freedom. You're so into being attached. You so like being attached. You're so good at being attached that I don't think you know yourself how much you love being alone and single and not knowing which way you're going to go, and standing on the edge of, you know, right now. And because you do go by your feelings. So whatever you do, it's going to be super exciting and passionate because your feelings are what prompt you. So it's always this genuine motivation. You can do anything with that. You can... Okay, I have my notes here, and then all of a sudden it said 10:15 a.m. Murray Street. And I was like, what? What does that have to do with cancers? It has nothing to do. It's nail appointment. Okay, anyway. So, being free. Now, kind of adjacent to being free, money, loans, worries, anxiety, panic. You need a money plan. If you can't make one, if you can't stick to a budget, talk to someone who will hold you accountable, get an accountant, talk to an elder, If you can't do any of those things, get an app, stick to it. If you can't do that, just stop buying anything that's not necessary. The using money as a crutch when you get stressed, you can't do that right now because you're going through too many stressful, but in a good way, situations that are growing pains, and you don't want to numb your growing pains with extraneous spending, right? Because it's just so destructive to your budgeting, but also you are in a time right now where loans are coming in, things you haven't paid, things you need to set up to start paying. There are a lot of Cancers who kind of have been living off of others, or living off of recurring incomes, or living off of perhaps the state, or living off of alimony, something that comes due or ends. And so you need to, or it ended a while ago and you've kind of been like surviving off of what was left of it or somebody's charity, and now it's time to get a job. It's really, really important now to empower yourself. Knight of Swords says you need to get a job. As soon as you start to look for one, Ace of Cups, there's going to be something way better than you think is out there for you, and it will require you to come out of your comfort zone a little bit in a way you'll really enjoy, in a way that you'll find exciting, in a way that will make you want to get up and go to work, and will make you excited about the future, and actually will start to give you a lot of perspective, finally, on what you've left. And that's important to mention here, that you don't really get that perspective and that healing that you're looking for until you get back out in the world. So if you're looking for that healing to happen before you can get out in the world, that, you know, it comes after. It comes after. First you feel better, then the understanding comes that would have made you feel better. But how do I do that? Then if I need the understanding to feel better, you get out there. You get out there and you experience things, because the thing is, Cancer, you don't learn just by yourself. You are a community-minded, maternal figure person, right? So you need to interact with others just like everybody does. The first AI is even AI because it interacted with a child and learned facial expression. So interaction is key. When you interact, you learn. When you learn, you forget about what's going on in your own life. You forget about whatever's going on emotionally with you. When you get engrossed with people, you're very perceptive. You pick up on everything. You learn from everything. Everything is a learning experience. And when you do that and you're out in the world and you're kind of forced to interact with people, you will learn things and you will pick things up, and things will happen, these synchronicities for you, because you are so keyed in. Things will happen for you and you'll see things and you'll think, yeah, okay, this is why it happened. Okay. Or, wow, if that hadn't happened, I couldn't feel this way right now. Or, you know, hopefully all of this prompts you into getting into a really, really healthy lifestyle, because you gain this really new, rare sense of self that you haven't had before, and you don't really see in people around you, where you just feel so good, and you just want to look better and better, and you want to work out more, and you want to do things to your skin and to your hair. You're just like, you want your outside to match how beautiful you feel inside. And that's interesting, because you are coming out of a time that's so painful and things are ending, and you would think that would make you feel bad, but instead it's feeding something in you that's like, no, I'm great. No, this is a mistake and a tragedy, and mainly a mistake that I've been overlooking for a while, but no, it has nothing to do with me. And that's such a huge leap forward. Oh. And those of us who haven't been, especially Cancer risings, those of us who haven't been in any sort of relationship or entanglement or anything, and have just been kind of quietly, silently healing and staying away from everything that could, you know, spark those same issues. For those of us, it's that period of healing that's coming to an end. It's that period of kind of monastic, escapism that we've been indulging in. The healing for us, that moment of, that epiphany, that moment of knowing like, oh, that's what the pain was for. it freed us as well as it's freeing any cancers, Cancer rising, Cancer moons out there who are finally, breaking free from that relationship, or breaking free from that dead-end career, or breaking free from that dead-end job, or breaking free from that dead-end friendship. I mean, there's so many endings. Breaking free from that stressful home situation, whatever it may be. Your shackles are being broken, but not because you're breaking them. And I think that's really important to emphasize, because your cardinal nature is genuinely the reason that so much happens around you, even though you're doing it quietly and you're not being really pushy about it. You are in your own way. It is all in your control. You are the master of the things happening around you, but this is not in your control, and there is nothing you can do about it. And you are being freed perhaps from things that you don't want to be free of. So this desire will be there to sit outside the empty open cage now and try to pretend that you're still in it. Don't do that. No matter what the extenuating circumstances are, try to understand that you're free. And there's a reason that you're free, because there is something better. And it's waiting right outside of this, but you have to get out of this. And now you're being pushed out of it, So trust, faith, prayer, and therapy. If it gets too hard, prayer and therapy. Both. Love you. Let's look at these cards. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to the second part of your reading. Okay, so here we are in the extended. We're going to take a look at the traditional definition of these cards, go through them one by one. The extended has changed quite some as the years have gone by. We have evolved. So here we're going to do a cursory look at what we've already talked about with the astrology, and in the extended we're going to get more into the different symbolism in the cards and the different astrology signs that some of the cards represent, and more into the nitty-gritty of April, but also into the beginning of May. So now here we go. So you have that Ace of Swords and that Eight of Swords first up. So whatever it is, it's not going to be pleasant, this breaking away, this realization. However this occurs to you now, it's not pleasant, but it's not a surprise. Okay, so let's not turn that around on ourselves and beat ourselves up for it. Let's just acknowledge that this is something that could have been avoided. And perhaps what we learned from it now is that when something is glaring and obvious and saying, look, this is a problem, that we should listen instead of trying to impose our will on it. And then there is that Chariot card and the Four of Swords. So the more traditional definition of that Chariot card being that you have to pick a direction, or you have to find a way through the middle. Either way will work, but trying to go in two different directions at the same time will not work. All right? Trying to have a life of your own and trying to sustain a life with a partner who doesn't want to make you a priority, even if it has worked and you have stretched it however long, 8 years for some, it will not work anymore. Now you either completely choose them or you choose yourself. But if you completely choose them, they'll discard you anyway. And that's just a fact. Anytime we choose somebody over ourselves, that person will discard us. Why? Because you are showing them with your actions and with the with your faulty decisions that you don't care about yourself. Any smart person will run from a scenario where they're dealing with someone who doesn't care about themselves, because if you don't care about you, you certainly don't care about me. Not because you don't want to, or there's no malice. You simply don't know what it means. So, is it really two different directions you have to choose? Are you really torn? Take some time. Say the cards Four of Swords. Take some time. Think it over. Find your strength. Find yourself again. Find your voice. Find your motivation. Go out there. Look. If for nothing else, get yourself some sort of job where you have to interact with people, even if you don't need to. And something great will show up. Love, I don't know if it's love necessarily. It's not about that. It's about you feeling more and more like yourself. Finding something new. You know, for some of you, this really heavy realization has to do with an identity that you clung to for a long time, for a large part of your life. Who are you with that without that identity? If you don't identify as that, what are you? What's left? You know, so whether it's a person or someone you used to be or somewhere you used to work or a tax bracket you used to be in, a neighborhood you used to live in, whatever it is, now you have to rebuild. But the cool thing about rebuilding is that you get to fix so many of the cracks that maybe you missed the first time. There's so much catharsis and healing in allowing life to drag you a little bit. But the why that you're feeling, you know, that why did it happen? Why did it have to happen like this? Why does it have to hurt? Why? You're not going to know that why until after you decide that you're going to choose yourself and you're going to move forward. Then you're going to find out the why. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. And it'll be okay. But that doesn't happen until you decide on your own that you're not going to let anyone or anything run or rule or control the direction of your life. Not anymore. Not after giving so much to something and seeing it turn to ash in your hands. Not anymore. One of, I think, the most important realizations you come to in April is just that nothing, not your passions, not your loves, not anything can be the driving force behind this ocean that is you. It always has to be you. You have to be the driving force. Everything else is an offshoot of that. Everything else is in proportion to that, to this. You see? Good. Love you. I'll see you in the extended right now. Oh, I stopped selling these for now because I want to revamp the line a little bit. And we will be back. So if you're admiring it, this is the Empress. It was available up until a week ago, but we have just shelved our inventory and we'll be back soon. Love you, love you. The extended personal readings, all the links to everything you would ever want to know, they're all below. And if you're interested in a daily horoscope, come on over to Instagram and join us at The Quietest Revolution. If you're getting any sort of messages from any Instagram or TikTok or anyone soliciting you for a reading, just to let you know, it's not me. I'll never ask you if you want a reading. Okay? Love you.